So this is my tutorial on how to make an iPhone pocket. I have a piece of fabric here. I've cut out 4 of them, all the same size, about 18.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Okay, so, and then I measure 1.5 inches down, and I want my opening to be big enough that I can still have my phone in there. So a phone is usually about this high, so I would want it about till here. So maybe like 7 or 8, yeah, 8 inches. So let's fold this in half. That way we can get the perfect middle. Okay, and then measure 8 inches down. Okay, and then you can sew around it. I like to put a square around it, and this is where you're going to sew. Okay, so here and here, and this line in the middle is where you cut after you sew it together. Okay, so I will only need to do that to one side. So this is the cute side, so I'll do the same thing on the other one as well. Do exactly the same steps. So I take my piece of fabric, fold it in half. If you have directional fabric, make sure it's on the right direction. Okay, fold in half, crease it. Okay, and then I mark 1.5 inches from the middle. 1.5, put a dot. Okay, and then measure 8 from that. So this is the line that I have. The 8's right there. Okay, so draw a line. Okay, so to show you, draw my other line in purple this time, that way you can really see it. Yeah, I don't know why this marker's not working that great. It's brand new.
We grab actually a lot. We grab 2 bags of chips, juice, bottle of pop, bottle of juice.
Okay. So once you have your 2 pieces of fabric measured and drawn the lines, then you can take.
Alicia, I'm gonna go grab some Chinese food. Can you take a...
Okay, so these are the 2 flour, as you can see. I'll put the one side with the one side, so plaid, and you want the good sides together. That way when you turn it from this hole right here, then it will look perfect on that hole. Okay, so I have these two together. And I do the same thing with the other piece. Okay, plaid, flower, all together. Okay, good size together. Okay, and then you can pin the fabric together. Okay, and then after you've pinned it, now you sew around the square, around the line. And the line in the middle is where you cut. So you take a little tiny pair of scissors after you sew around it, and then you cut that open. Even a seam ripper is also really handy, or X-Acto knife just to start. And then once you get in there, you can grab your fine scissors and cut the hole out. So let's do that. So we'll sew around this square on both sides, right sides together. Okay, my top thread is black, so you can see it. See, and I'm putting on my auto back stitching. Okay, so put my needle down. Okay, and now I will sew around this square. Okay, turn with your needle down. Sew about 3 more stitches. Needle down, turn again. Sew. Okay, pivot. Sew. And then now you back stitch 3. Okay, and cut. Done. Okay, so now we cut. We do exactly the same thing to the other side. And after you sew it, you can trim your threads and cut open that hole. So trim, trim, and now I can cut this hole open. So you take it, get in there, cut it open, and then you want to do a little, like kind of like similar to a zipper. That way it's not too bulky there. Cut that away. You want that to turn really well. Okay, and then once you're in there, you can keep cutting. Don't cut your stitches. Okay, and cut the other side too. Okay, now keep cutting this whole hole open. Okay. Okay, so I cut as much as possible around the corners because you want that to turn well. Okay. Okay, so looking like that. Okay. Now repeat the same steps to the other side. Okay. Pin the fabric. I like to put it a little bit away from where I'm sewing, that way I don't have to move them. Okay. Okay, so once that's all pinned, now I can sew around the square just like before. Okay, so I put my foot down, needle down position, and then I can start sewing. Okay, needle down, pivot, 3, pivot, keep going straight. Okay, needle down, pivot, 3, now back stitch, 3. Okay, once that's done, cut your stitches. Okay, trim your threads. Okay, you can remove the pins now. Okay, take out the pins, and now you cut the hole just like you did on the other one. It's a little hard to get in there at first.
Hey, hon, I'm gonna go before it gets too late.
Okay, I'm just finishing up cutting the hole. Okay, cut as much fabric away from the corners as possible. Okay. Okay, so once that's finished, then you can turn the fabric. See how it's cute on the other side? You turn that through the hole. Okay, get in there. Okay, and once that's done, you can iron it, and that will make this hole perfect. And you want to iron it. Okay, so let's turn it, getting all the good sides together. Okay, see, now I've turned it. Everything's looking good. Okay, so now it looks kind of like a pocket now.
Okay, somebody have to hug the baby.
Okay,
I wanna make
and
this
now
quick before they don't
I
have
take the two pieces and I sew them together. And now I'm just going to iron this and do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so once both your halves are all done, then you can sew them together. Okay, so I somehow measured wrong, so I just added an inch on the square and redid it. So as you can see, now it's actually both 8 inches. And now let's put the two sides together. So I want the plaid to be on the inside, so that means I have to have it on the outside, because I want the inside to be like all nice and stuff. So let's do that. So plaid outside, and then I sew around the edges in a square. Okay, so some pins. Get some clips and clip the two piece halves together, making sure all the edges meet up and that the hole is meeting up too. Okay, and you could either sew with your sewing machine all the way around the edge, or you could serge it. And I recommend serging it if you have a serger, but if you don't have a serger, then just sew it. And if you worry about the fraying, do a zigzag overcast stitch on the edges. But I have a serger, so I'm probably just going to serge it. Okay, so once everything's clipped, now sew along. Don't leave any hole. You're gonna turn it from this hole right here. Okay, so let's do that. So before I move on to the clipping part, I'm just going to quickly go in and sew the hole down. That way it lays flat and everything. This is not necessarily necessary, but I want to do it. Okay. Okay, so we can trim our threads now. Okay. Okay, it's looking good. Now I can reclip it. Now I'm just going to take out my serger, but you could also sew around this edge with a normal sewing machine and zigzag the edge if you care about the edges. Otherwise, just sew it with a normal sewing machine, but I have a serger, so I'm going to utilize it. It's a better finish. Okay, so now I'm just gonna sew along the whole edge, leaving no hole. You don't need it. If you don't have a serger, highly recommend it. Okay, so once you get to the corner, bring your needles up. That way they're out of the fabric. You can't turn when it's not in the fabric still, because there's 2 needles. Unless you switched your needle to 1. Okay, bring my needles up, turn. Okay, making sure that you get all your layers. Move your clips. Okay, needles up, turn, move your clips. Okay, leave a long end. Okay, once you're done, you can turn off your machine, whether it be a serger or a sewing machine. You don't need a serger, but it is really nice though. Okay, and now we have our finished pocket. Okay, so, and then to finish off this end of a serger, you can re-needle it through. But if you don't want to do that, just tie a knot. I'm lazy. Don't just trim it though, because that will come undone. Okay, so I knotted it, trim it. Okay, and this will be all on the inside anyway. And then you can turn the pocket. Okay. Now I think this will be a little bit small for my phone because my phone is actually quite wide, but I think this would fit an iPhone. Okay, you can take a ruler that you have and kind of poke out the edges. Highly recommend you get this tool. It's a loop turner. You can turn virtually anything with it. I love it. I got it from Amazon. So I'm just trying to poke out these corners with this piece of wood. If you sew with the sewing machine, you could even cut your corners off, and that will make it turn better. Okay, so Once you have your corners out, you're done. Okay, so you can even iron it a quick little go, and then it'll be real nice.